Good morning. How y'all doing? This is Willie Smith, One Man's Opinion, reporting October 23rd, 2018. Not sure, is it 1 or 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Anyway, I just want to speak. I had a conversation the other day. I got a couple other topics to address, but it'll be in other videos. But something particular that I was thinking about and I wanted to address was, I was in a barbershop the other day, and myself and the barber that was cutting my hair and a couple other patrons, we were all talking. I am a Chicagoan, a native Chicagoan, and current resident. I have lived other places, but currently live in Chicago. People constantly go on about the violence in Chicago and things of that nature. Of course, I'm not a young man. I'll be 40 next year. So I've seen a good deal of, situations as far as violence happening in the city. So that it's not surprising. Things aren't shocking. It's just more widely known, reported, and understood these days than it was when I was young, because there was no social media and news reports weren't as quickly submitted and things of that nature. However, what we were talking about was some of the shootings and murders that have occurred just over the last few months. And we all were in agreement that there are some murders that are being orchestrated higher up, that are not being done by, just some random individual in the hood that just want to shoot or just want to kill random people. That's not the case. It doesn't have that making. On average, most black people that are killer types usually don't have the sort of precision to get away. Usually. I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, that's it. Black person kill you. Okay, if they get found out, they do. If they don't, they don't. There have been some shootings that have occurred that it's like, okay, they occur or they're back to back or whatever. Police don't have no answers. They don't have no witnesses. They don't have any information, just generalized stuff. Sometimes, they were at one time calling dang near everything gang related. And it's like, what happened? What happened? When? Where? Gang? What gang? Which gang? Ooh. I remember back in the day, you had GDs, BDs, Breeds, Black Souls, Latin Kings, Mickey Cobras, 4CH, UVL, TVL, MVL, and so on. Okay, so it's just gang related. Which gang? There's a lot of gangs, and there's more that I didn't mention, but that's just, and that's here in Chicago. So that being the case, when they make a sting, they name individual crews and cliques and sets and all that. But when they make a report on the news, it's just gang related. What makes something gang related exactly? That's too open a term, gang related. Well, you could say somebody in a gang and they don't have to claim a clique, a set, or anything of that nature. Just because I know people with gang ties, that doesn't make me affiliated. They have to say that, or they have to make an individual an associate of sorts. So, that term that has been used by the media from the police, that a situation was gang related, that doesn't really wash with me. There's so many unsolved murders and mysteries, and it's unsettling, because we honestly, like I said, we all were in agreement when we were talking about the fact that it seems that it's coming from somewhere else. Either law enforcement is setting up individuals or they're actually killing individuals. It doesn't, you know, some people won't buy into the logic and they would rather say, oh, well, you know, the whole reason for being a police officer is you want to fix things. But that's not the culture of what exists today for police officers. They feel like they have a pass to do whatever they want, to whomever they want, whenever they want, however they want. So they don't have a culture of trying to look out for the community. It's not the general culture. You may have an occasional officer that may actually have a good heart. The problem is that he's in the wrong profession. That's why there are no good cops. Because if you are actually a good police officer and your intentions are good, pure, righteous, upstanding, then they're going to find ways to take you down, take you out, get you suspended, put you in a line of fire, whatever it takes. Trust and believe. Some of the police that you may have heard about that something happened to and you never knew why or how, more than likely it happened from his comrades or people that were supposed to, you know, be on his team, and he wasn't going along with whatever corruption or whatever game plan existed. Excuse me. This is one of the reasons that so many police officers that wouldn't be corrupt are. Because if they're going to remain a police officer, they have to get their hands dirty. Why? Because they don't want other officers walking around and you can pull the rug out and say, okay, well, this is what's wrong. This is what such and such did. Because they can't point back at you and say, well, you did such and such, or you was wrong for such and such. If they can't do that, they can't trust you. Everybody got to have their hands dirty. If your hands ain't dirty, if your hands are clean, then you got higher moral ground, logically speaking. Because what can they say you did wrong? They can't go to, what is it, internal affairs, I think it is, or superiors or higher ups or the city council and say, this is a bad cop because they don't have anything on you. But if you've done something, then you're part of the team. So if they go down and you tell on them, they can tell on you. That's how that works. So that's the reason that, you know, police culture isn't good at all, and especially to black communities. But I'm also seeing that apparently they become just highly exalted in the way that they perceive themselves. Because I'm actually starting to see that police officers are actually attacking and doing things to white people. Now, I'm not going to say they do it as consistently as I've known them to do it to black people, but I'm saying it's becoming more prevalent that it's happening. And it's happening in cases where individuals ain't doing anything. Take, for instance, the man that that was on his knees at the hotel, and the officer, SWAT officer, or whatever he was, shot him down. That's one situation that was unjustified, regardless of the race. I've seen more, you know, and everybody says, oh, well, if you listen, if you comply. You can't listen, you can't comply with an individual that wants a reason to mess you up. I mean, you can comply, but no matter how much compliance you have, if they're looking for a reason to do something ill to you, no amount of compliance can change that. That's what people fail to understand. Okay, some people say, oh, well, you know, police don't wake up and this, that, and other. They don't go out with this on their mind or on their heart. Look, you don't know what or how they feeling. They may not have got no coochie last night. They, you know, or no dick or whatever. The kids might be getting bullied at school. You never know. They might have lost a loved one. They go through different things. But the problem is they take their personal issues to work and they take it out on the general public. That's the biggest problem to me with the police force as a whole. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, oh, well, people should have respect for them and they do this. It's a job. So many other people do other jobs where they don't have weapons. So they don't hurt people, but some of them get talked to crazy and disrespected. Look, CNAs get beat up by, schizophrenic patients. Some of them, have to defend themselves, but some of them don't. Some of them don't defend themselves against that. And these schizophrenic patients very well could be someone that's trying to harm them to the point of murdering them. You got firemen that do their job. I'm sure they fear for their life when going into a fire. I mean, that's dangerous no matter what. So, when it comes to being a police officer, I'm sure the job is hectic, stressful, difficult in some cases. But if you're walking around and you fearing everything, then that's not the right profession. That's just my opinion. Because, okay, if you're going to protect someone or anyone, then you have to be a brave individual. Although, it's not where police really care about protecting as many folks these days. Still, if that's what it's going to be, then that's how it should be. Serve and protect the public. Not with ass whoopings. But, as I was saying, myself and the individuals in the barbershop felt like things were being orchestrated. Now, the biggest question that an individual watching this video may have is, why would the police want to orchestrate crime? Well, think about it. Or project or produce crime. Now, it's a revolving door. Criminology, that sort of thing. Think about if crime rates drop. Say like in Demolition Man, there was practically no crime. Everything was ticketed. You couldn't even cuss. Couldn't litter. Couldn't do nothing. But think if crime drops enormously, even more than it probably has. I don't think there's as many people doing as many things because there's different ways to do more things criminal-like and get it done without leaving a trace, a footprint, a fingerprint, figuratively speaking. So, what is it that you have to do in order to, keep the revolving door going? Okay, well, if there's not enough crime, you create crime. You take some dope and you plant it on somebody, then you charge them. Now, then that person becomes a part of the system. Whether they can, whether they're guilty or not, here's the thing. Just say they're guilty. Look at all the people that along the way that you are keeping employed. Okay, you got the district attorney or prosecutor's office. You got the defense attorney, if they're indigent. You have the regular defense attorney if they, are able to pay for them. But they don't really count, though. You have court individuals. You have the judge, bailiff, blah, blah, stenographer, all that. Then you got, prisons. Prison guard, prison warden, all those people. Or, when they get out, parolees. Or if they don't go in, probation officers. All these people are able to have jobs based on criminals or someone charged and convicted with a crime, whether or not they're guilty. See, this is supposed to be where you're innocent till proven guilty. But if they want you to be guilty, guilty is what you are. There is no innocent until proven guilty, because there are so many people that have been shown to be innocent yet and still went to jail, prison, and other places. And there are so many people who were actually guilty and got off. So really, you can be proven to be innocent, and in this justice system, sometimes it's just us black people, just us poor people, that black and non-black. So I think that, a lot of people talk about conspiracy theories. I mean, it's not far-fetched. If it was something that, I would think is a conspiracy theory, but I don't think conspiracy theories are bad. There's conspiracies to do different things against certain entities. So you can theorize and come up with a hypothesis and find a way to express that. I don't think that makes it wrong. But these things couldn't be projected to any degree if something of that nature wasn't happening. No one is coming out to explain it, because then they have to show their hand. So it is what it is. Yeah, I think there's a lot of corrupt police that are doing a lot of corrupt things. I can't say every single reason. I would have to take the time and write it down, but I do believe it's happening. I do believe they, want to find ways to keep the jails and prisons as full as possible. Because if they didn't, what would their job be? But that was just some of my personal thoughts from conversation I had, like I said. And this is Willie Smith signing off with One Man's Opinion.